Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the GM. I'm your guy Boulanger. And up next, man, we're going to get into a conversation about a contract that Lamar Jackson could sign with the Baltimore Ravens where everybody's a winner. Everybody meaning Lamar Jackson, Baltimore Ravens, NFL ownership, and also players. Oh, forgive me for the toboggan. Usually don't wear a toboggan, but it's cold in my house. Nobody wants to turn the heat up, so I had to cover up my head. But let's go. So this idea comes from just watching Baltimore kind of be silent this whole entire free agency thus far, making a couple of in-house signings, meaning their own free agents, but no outside signings. And so, if we can be all the way honest, Baltimore is a worse team today than they were last Wednesday when free agency started, simply because they decided to move on from Calais Campbell. And so losing Calais Campbell, even if you kept those other guys, makes you a worse team. And so Baltimore has some ground to make up. Pittsburgh has made signings. Cleveland has made signings. The Bengals have made signings. But Baltimore has basically just stood still. And I think part of that is because their quarterback room is unsettled. They don't know who's going to be the starting quarterback. And certainly they would like it to be Lamar Jackson. I would like it to be Lamar Jackson. But unfortunately, they can't come to a numeric amount to make both sides come together. And so this deal that I'm gonna present to you guys, I definitely want to hear your opinion, your thoughts. So I'm gonna tell you what the amount is. I'm gonna break down how the contract could be structured, and then I'm gonna tell you why everybody wins. So with no further ado, let me share my screen, and we'll get this thing going. Let's see, just do this right here. Let's go right here and there. All right, Lamar Jackson, uh, a contract where everybody can win. All right, so let's deal with the contract first. Let's go. Okay, so the contract will be a 2-year, $100 million fully guaranteed deal. Okay, fully guaranteed deal. And so it will be structured this way: $40 million due at signing. Okay, that means what's the owner name? Steve Bisciotti would have to write the check and put it in escrow at the time of signing for $40 million. That's what Lamar would take home immediately. Lamar Jackson would have a $15 million base salary. Uh, and then he would be owed $45 million going into the second year, which would put him right on par with guys like um, Josh Allen, Kyler Murray, Patrick Mahomes, that kind of thing. And that doesn't mean better. That just means he's on par with them. So that means that that second year number of 45 million is an appropriate amount. And then some clauses that will be included is that there's no trade clause, which means they could trade Lamar unless he consents to the trade. And then there will be no franchise tag at the end of this 2 years. So that's how the deal will be structured. Um, so let's see why Lamar Jackson would win. Okay. So Lamar Jackson would win because he will receive $100 million fully guaranteed. That gives him some long-term security in life, but it also gives him some short-term security in a 2-year contract. Okay. He Another benefit to this contract is that he becomes a free agent again in 2025. And at age 28, he hits the free agents market to where he could broker another deal, whether with the Baltimore Ravens or with another team. That's the reason why you would do the no trade clause and also the no franchise tag as a part of the deal. And so then in 2025, he can move forward with no restrictions. And that's what a player wants. A player wants to be able to be mobile and be in charge of his decision making without a lot of team oversight. So that's why Lamar Jackson will win. Okay. Now let's talk about why the Baltimore Ravens will win, which is also an important factor. So the Baltimore Ravens would win first and foremost. They would have no long-term obligation to Lamar, which means on a traditional 5-year, you know, 200 plus million, that money would be spread out over 3 or 4 years of guaranteed money. But this deal gets them in and out of a deal quickly, right? Um, Also, the Baltimore Ravens win because they would lock in their franchise quarterback at least for the next 2 years. That way, they can begin to develop a plan and begin off-season uh, uh, focus, knowing what's happening in 2023 and in 2024. Okay. Um, Signing a deal with Lamar Jackson would jumpstart their free agency. I think some of the reason why the free agents haven't come to Baltimore, specifically some wide receivers, is because they don't know who's going to be throwing them the ball. So this would allow them to be able to pick from the remaining wide receivers who are left, guys like Adam Thielen, DJ Shark, Marvin Jones, guys like that. Although those aren't big names and those aren't home run hitters, those are quality depth guys who can certainly make an impact along with Rashad Bateman. Okay, and also what I believe to be a first round pick in this year's draft. Okay, um, also for the Ravens would open up uh, $17 million in cap space. See, Lamar Jackson's base salary would be $15 million. His base salary right now is 32 million under that franchise tag. So that would open up $17 million in cap space in order to go and get those guys that they need to fill up those holes. So a guy like a Rock Yassine, you can bring in on like a 3-year, $24 million deal, 4-year, $32 million deal, something like that. You could go get an Adam Thielen, a Marvin Jones, or DJ Shark, as I mentioned, maybe like a 2-year, $13 million deal for Adam Thielen or Marvin Jones, maybe a 3-year, $20 million deal for a guy like a DJ Shark, and still have a couple of dollars left in cap space. And then the $7 million that they have currently available, which wouldn't be included in the 17, that's the money they already have to sign all of their draft picks. So it works out well if they get this deal done. And another benefit for the Baltimore Ravens is that their cap will explode in 2028, excuse me, 2025, forgive me. They already scheduled to have $145 million in cap space without this deal. Well, this deal goes dead at the end of that 2024-2025 season. And so this $45 million contract comes off the books. And so they would have still 145 million. And then they're probably going to move off of Ronnie Stanley. So that would explode to 165 million in available dollars. So if they decided to keep Lamar, they could, because the money would be there. And if they decide to go in a different direction from Lamar, then they could also do that with playing that cap space to put a team around a young quarterback. So those are the reasons why the Baltimore Ravens um, would benefit from this deal. That's why they're a winner, and they would get back into immediate contention. Okay, so let's look at why the NFL owners will win. NFL ownership will win because this would reset the full guaranteed market. You see, Deshaun Watson and the Cleveland Browns set that market high at $230 million, which is what Lamar set his eyes on, which is reasonable. Okay. But if Lamar signs a 2-year, $100 million deal, what that does is that brings it down to a more measurable, fully guaranteed market. You see, because remember, Kirk Cousins on a 3-year, $80 million deal. He was the first one in the more modern era to sign a fully guaranteed deal as a quarterback. Deshaun Watson took it from 80 million up to 230. So Lamar's deal would bring it back down to something more measurable, uh, something that the owners will be pleased with. They'll be able to get in the deal, out of the deal quickly, and be able to make a determination on how much more of a commitment they want to do to different players. So I think that it will reset that fully guaranteed market for the quarterback position, but then it will cause all the other positions who will start wanting fully guaranteed deals, such as wide receivers, cornerbacks, and stuff like that. It causes that to go down as well. So I think it resets that market. The owners win with that, and now the players win. The NFL players win. Why? Because they would have the opportunity to pursue shorter term deals, which allowed them to make a lot of money in a short period of time. Okay, and then become free agents again fairly quickly. Uh, the players will have control over their mobility. It's easier to sign a 2-year deal or a 3-year deal, uh, get your money fully guaranteed versus a long-term deal and getting the same money guaranteed. So let me give you an example. So let's take Patrick Mahomes' deal, which was 10 years, 450 million. I think he ended up with 141 million in guaranteed dollars. Well, Patrick Mahomes at that time when he signed his deal, what if he had did a 3-year deal worth, um, let's say let's say 120 million fully guaranteed. Well, Patrick Mahomes is in his deal and out of his deal. Now watch this. Patrick Mahomes would have made $120 million, which is $21 million less than his guaranteed money. But what did Patrick Mahomes just do? Patrick Mahomes would have just won his second league MVP, his second Super Bowl, and second Super Bowl MVP at the same time that his deal is up. Now, Patrick Mahomes is in line to sign a real mega deal with even more guaranteed money. You see, that's the benefit of the players being able to take these short-term deals. You're able to get in and out. And so now when you hit your peak, and now when you hit your peak, you're able to negotiate the peak rather than be in a situation where you hit your peak and then you still got 2 more years left on a deal that doesn't represent your market value. So that's what I think, man. So let me know what you guys think, man, about a 2-year, $100 million deal, 40 million do it signing. That means Steve Bisciotti will have to put that money in escrow immediately. $15 million base salary. It opens up $17 million in cap space, which jumpstarts the Baltimore Ravens free agency market. And by the way, that also, with this deal, that also still allows the Baltimore Ravens to have $45 million in cap space in 2024. So it doesn't hurt them there either when you really break down the numbers. So everybody wins: Lamar, Baltimore, the league, and the NFL players. So let me know, guys, if you think this is crazy, if you think this deal is a solid deal, and if you like the short-term deal. I do personally. Uh, and I think if the Ravens would pitch this to Lamar, I think Lamar would be willing to jump on board. Why? Well, let me tell you why. Also, before we close, these ideas just keep coming. So here's why this benefits Lamar. Okay, so Lamar signs a 2-year deal, $100 million fully guaranteed deal. Lamar wouldn't come up for a new contract until when? After Joe Burrow, after Justin Hurts, and after Justin Herbert, and after Jalen Hurts have signed. So now that I think the 2020 quarterback signed, now Lamar comes back on the market. And if Lamar balls out, Lamar's contract will come due the same time Trevor Lawrence's contract come due. So now if he's hit another peak in his career, now he can get the money he's justly due again. So that's another reason why it benefits Lamar as well. So listen, let me know what you guys want me to know, man. I appreciate you guys for checking us out. Hit the like, hit subscribe, share it with a friend. I'm your guy, Boulanger. This is the GM, and we're out.